Hi, Sarah. Hi, Jessica.
We're just waiting a little bit um, to let other people join in, so it'll be just a couple of minutes.
Solo estamos esperando para darle oportunidad a otras personas a unirse. Tomaremos un par de minutos más.
Wait just one more minute and then we'll get started.
Un minutito más y comenzamos.
Hey, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Hope some other folks will join us this evening. My name is Catherine Archuleta, and I'm your facilitator for the evening. We have a really wonderful agenda for tonight that we'll go over with you in just a minute, but let's first talk about our interpretation because we always offer interpretation at our meetings. Francisco?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Francisco Picado. I'm from Language Access LLC. And as part of the city's efforts to engage the community, interpretation is always available in meetings like this. In case you haven't had the opportunity to take advantage of this service, please look at the icon list on the bottom right of your screen. Click on the interpretation icon, the little globe, and select the language of your choice. Buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Francisco Picado. Yo trabajo para Language Access LLC y la ciudad, como parte de su esfuerzo para obtener la participación de la comunidad, ofrece interpretación en todas estas reuniones. En caso de que usted no ha tenido la oportunidad de aprovechar este servicio, por favor, vea a la lista de iconos en la parte inferior derecha de su pantalla y seleccione el icono de la interpretación, el globito, y escoja el idioma de su preferencia. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Francisco. Okay, let's take a look at the agenda. And we have introductions, of course, and then we'll move on to the Heron Pond and Carpo Sanguinetti update. And I'm trying to move something out of the way here of my agenda. And then we're going to move on to Washington Street Program of Projects, update and survey, and then an overview on the program of projects in the whole area, an overview and the website update, and we talk a little bit about the end of the year meeting schedule, and then the trunk or treat event that's happening in the GES community. So I'm going to turn it over to Jim Coakley, who's going to talk to us about the Heron Pond Carpio Sanguinetti Park update.
Thank you, Catherine. Hi, I'm Jim Coakley with DOTI, the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. I'm the project manager on the design side. I work with Parks, Mike Schumann over there primarily, and we are on pace to deliver this project as we'll show in the coming slides over the next couple of years. So you can see here, back in 1993, it was a wastewater treatment plant and black and white. And then moving forward, we did the master plan back in 2017. The next picture, you can see pretty close to where we're at right now. We've been doing the infrastructure work, so a lot of the grading, the pipe works, getting the site ready to actually build the park. And then the final picture there is how the park is going to be laid out, and that's consistent with the master plan. So details here, we've completed phase 1A as of a little over a year ago, and that is the red wedge there along the river on the east side of the site. We improved the levee, and that's part of 3 phases of the project to get our FEMA levee to protect the neighborhood from the river actually flowing back into the city. That was $2.8 million. We're mostly complete with phase 1B. We actually just got an extension through June from our contractor. So that was $20 million for all of the infrastructure, the roadways, the parking lots, like I said, the pipes, a lot of earthwork, hauling off the dirt there, and just dealing with a lot of the site conditions, setting us up for phase 2, which will be the amazing park beginning in June and continuing for approximately a year. And then we'll have the park opened in 2025, which is pretty exciting to see this thing come to fruition. Here's the site. We finished the grading in the spring. That we hauled off over 10,000 large trucks, the ones you see, the big haul trucks, just hauling dirt out of the pond area itself. We added the stormwater outlet structures. These are meant to hold the water back in a decent storm event. It'll come in there and slow the water down, and that helps take a lot of the pollutants out of the water, which can actually just be fertilizer from your lawn, and then before it goes to Heron Pond and then on its way to the river. There are 2 forebays, and we'll kind of see those as we're flying through. One's under construction now, and the smaller one at 52nd is complete. Those are help to catch the sediment that may be in the stormwater, so the heavy dirts and stuff that's picked up in the water to help the sediment not go into the pond area itself. We have the trash vault completed as well to catch large trash bags and stuff as it enters on the south end. The sanitary sewer and water line is complete. That'll help feed the rest area that comes with the park. The paving for the 2 streets, 51st and Emerson Street, have been completely rebuilt, as well as parking lots near 52nd and Emerson and 51st Avenue at the main park entrance. They're going to be great. I'm pretty impressed by them. Moving on. Here we did a fly through starting over. You're at 52nd and Emerson, kind of looking north towards the Heller property, the northern half of the site. So we'll fly right here. We're going to zoom in and off up to the left. You can kind of see the structure up there. There's going to be an overlook structure there for a lot of bird viewing, and the trail that runs up there. This is pretty fantastic. It's a 2-story structure to check out the birds and overlook the area. We leave a lot of this open. There's an easement over conservation easements, so we can't harm any or do a lot of work here, just the trail work here. Now we're jumping into the north end of the pond area. You can see the brand new wetland sod that'll help establish and can take the heavy standing water. Off to the left was the forebay. I just missed it. And then here we're in the pond, the main parking lot off to the left, and then the staging area for the contractors right off the left there. Here we can see the main forebay. That's going to be huge. And then the parking lot off to the left. That's going to be the main entrance. It doesn't look like much. The grass is going to be coming in here in the fall, and the dormant seeding, and then it'll start coming up in the spring. And that's part of why our contractor is hanging on a little bit longer. They want to plant the seeds and then walk away from the site. So they're going to be making sure we get this established. Hanging on right here on the, we're looping. There is a channel that runs from the parking lot all the way up to Heron Pond, and the existing graffiti walls that are out there. There's a perched area, and we're going to be building a structure That's going to be taking place over the next couple months. So you're going to be able to walk over that channel that does carry a constant water. So that's underway as well. So our contractor, like I said, will be finishing in June, but the bulk of the big improvements have been completed. Just some trail work, that structure, and some striping coming here in the next couple weeks. But by and large, the bulk of the work has been done. Coming in 2024 and 25, we are putting the bid package together right now to get our next contractor on the books in early 2024. They will complete the trails and the nature overlook. The play structures will go in, and this is going to be fantastic. I was reminded by Catherine when we were starting, this will be, I believe, the 4th largest park in Denver. So it's going to be a pretty amazing amenity. And a lot of the habitat items that I mentioned before, but there will be so many more for some of the natural wildlife and just aviary birds and little critters out there too. It's amazing what we see out there from week to week. So as far as the project goes, our contractor, I said, will be done in June. The next one we hope will be entering the site as the current contractor is leaving. So we're trying to minimize any downtime, just so the park doesn't invite any unwanted visitors. In the meantime, we want to keep it an active construction site and get this park up and running as quickly as possible. So it will stay closed through 2025 when it's ready to open, hopefully summer or fall. And then the trails that are open right now, if you're coming from the 51st Avenue Bridge or from the South Platte River Trail, you'll still be able to make all those connections that are currently out there today. We're going to leave that open. So, but the park itself will be closed. So, next. So this is just a high level where we're at. Coming up on December, we're wrapping up our main construction 2024, getting our next contractor out there in 2025, opening this thing up, and I'll be out there with my kid to check it out too. So pretty exciting. So here's just last context. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or go to the project website. There is a really amazing rendering in a YouTube video that our landscape consultant put together, Dig Studios. It's really great, and you can see, instead of just the dirt and the parking lots and the pond features that unfortunately I get too excited about and covered too much in this meeting, this will show you a lot of the amazing park amenities. There's going to be a massive butterfly that for the kids to climb up into, slides, all kinds of park features. It's going to be an amazing park. So with that, if there are any questions, I'm happy to take those. Otherwise, I'll just listen in.
Any questions from any of the CAG attendees?
Hi, I have a quick question. My name is Giovanni. Jim, thank you. This is just fantastic. Will you be able to share this slide deck?
Hey, Chris, yeah, or
Yeah, I'll be sending a follow-up email out tomorrow or Monday at the latest with the meeting recordings and the slide deck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Giovanni. Anybody else? Questions or comments?
And again, shoot me an email if you're curious as well. Pretty excited about this project, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
And if you think of some later on, you can reach Mark. I'm sorry. Yes, you can reach Mark. Jim. Sorry, I'm reading Mark and saying, but you can reach Jim and also through Chris.
Mark knows how to get a hold of me too. So.
Yeah, and Mark too.
Thank you.
Just wanted to let you know, if you all are watching your clocks, that we're probably going to be less than an hour in this meeting, so you'll be able to get back to your families sooner than 7:30. We're hopeful for that. So we're going to move on to the Washington Street design and construction, and Beth is going to do the presentation as describing the construction along 47th to 52nd Avenue. Beth.
Yep. Okay, great. Thank you. So that was great, Jim. It's a good update. All right, so let's just talk. So Washington Street is of course in design and nearing completion. So we have a few things to share and remind you about tonight, if you want to move forward. All right, so quickly, the design team is very near to 90% design. They will be there in November. So everything that you're seeing or on is really very close to 100%. So one of the last pieces that we're really focused on at this stage is our technical and interpretive wayfinding. So all that last signage and small design elements that really are going to be the final touches to some of the streetscape area. So as part of that, we've talked with Adams County. We'll probably have some more coordination with them. We'll be coordinating with National Western Center, just really kind of tying in that design element so that everything aligns. And we also have a streetscape survey that we'd love for you to take, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. So as the design of the streetscape is coming along, which we'll kind of go through here in a minute, we are also in the process of conducting individual property owner meetings. And we're talking with everyone who fronts Washington Street about the potential for a local maintenance district. And that would be something that would be in place to maintain certain aspects of the street improvements, not the street itself, but the streetscape. And we've been working pretty diligently with the city and the property owners to ensure that the city has a pretty heavy hand in maintaining all this investment out there. So they've got a lot of responsibilities. And then there are some sort of ongoing maintenance responsibilities of the local maintenance district. So not final and not by no means approved yet, but we're definitely working toward that to kind of keep our investment up and looking nice over the years. Lastly, the right-of-way letters of intent are anticipated to go out in November. So those of you who have properties along the corridor that are anticipating right-of-way discussions, those kinds of things will pick up in November. And lastly, and I'll talk more about this later, but we are beginning to have some co-project coordination around all the upcoming construction schedules. So nothing big to report yet, but just know that the teams will be working together, really trying to minimize as best as possible the impacts of construction of the various jobs underway. All right, so for Washington Street itself, in 2023, we've been in our NEPA process and going through environmental. We were in 90% design. We've been working through right-of-way and utility coordination. As we get into 2024, we expect FHWA, Federal Highways, to give their final approval, and we expect to be at 100% design in January or February. And we anticipate coming back to you with a public meeting about that time to share everything as here's exactly how it all turned out. So then we start our process of getting a contractor on board. And by 2025, we would have that contractor in place and have a construction plan, and construction would start. That'll be about a 2-year construction process. So here's that streetscape design that we were referring to. And last meeting, we had the chance to go through this in a lot more detail, talk some about the history behind some of these elements, some of the things that are being included. And so I won't go into a lot of detail, but just a reminder that we're looking at particular materials and colors, the use of natural stone, to really be those last accents for making this streetscape really unique to Globeville. One of the big announcements tonight, this is a big one, is that we weren't sure that we were going to be able to have pedestrian lighting within the cost and as part of, and we would have to have the local district maintain that. So what we have worked through and we're excited to announce is that we will have not only the street lighting, but also the pedestrian scale lighting, which is a little bit shorter. And it's going to be part of the project, implemented through the project, and owned and maintained by Excel. So this is a very big win. We're very excited to learn this so we can have both types of lighting, which is, really important for those on the corridor who are out there in early hours taking the bus and other people like that. So the fixture that we get to have is not, it's an Excel fixture. So we're going to take it. We're excited to have it. And really, these are kind of the two options. We can go with a more historic looking kind of pedestrian lighting, or we can go with this more modern new style they have that will be kind of sort of integrated into the streetscape. So it's kind of, we'd love to hear people's opinions. I think the design team ultimately will have to make a decision, but we would love to know if there's a particular priority or leaning toward one of these styles.
Can they vote in the chat?
They can. You can vote in the chat. You can voice your opinion right now. You're welcome to just share your thoughts.
Any particular, either any one of these designs sort of really reach you? Would you like to make a comment, or otherwise you can also put it in the chat? It'd be helpful to get feedback though.
Yeah, option B. Yeah.
Just take a moment and.
Yeah, and remember, if you go back, Kat, go back to the picture too. Remember, this isn't, there's a lot going on in the streetscape. And so you can see sort of that notion of the big overarching lights along the corridor. And so these are just those opportunities to build in a more pedestrian scale kind of lighting. And it may not be the most beautiful light you've ever seen, but it's all owned and maintained by Excel. So it's a big win to be able to have that much lighting on the corridor.
It looks like B is
His
favorite.
Preferred. Yeah, I think that's where the design team was too. So that's just great. Yeah, so good. Okay. Well, and we're going to talk about a survey that's going out as well. So we'll kind of get to that.
I think Giovanni has his hand raised.
Oh yeah, please go ahead, Giovanni.
Yeah, thanks. First off, this is all great. Really good news about the lighting with Excel. That is a true real win. Wondering if there will be any opportunities to kind of coordinate on a sort of per building basis. I think some of you may know we're working on a large project on Washington Street. Naturally, we want to be somewhat involved with kind of what's going to be in front of the building. We're going to be basically an entire city block. You may be getting into this, but I'm wondering also if there will be structures at the bus stops throughout on Washington Street, or if it will just be signage and a bench, or what that scenario will kind of be. Thank you.
Yeah, so a couple things. So yes, we'd love to, as the design team is sort of working through the details of this all along the corridor. Yes, happy to just circle back with you and share how that's laying out, and that's no problem. I think we tried to sort of pick up on some of the types of materials you guys were using as well. So my impression is that based on our last meeting's input, some of what you're seeing in this image will very nicely correlate to where you guys are headed. So that's great as well. So we can definitely circle back with you on those details. And the bus stops, the bus stops right now are a sign, and there are not shelters or structures being built as part of the transit improvement. That's really all I can say on that right now. It is just not planned at this time or included. And that's just something, if you have comments, we can take them back, but that is currently the way that the design is headed.
That sounds good. Thank you very much.
All right, so okay, so let's just to kind of wrap this one up. We did have all these materials for you last time, and we haven't been having huge attendance at these meetings, so we want to make sure that we give everybody a chance to weigh in or share some thoughts. And so we've developed a survey, and it's at this location, but I think it's also went out an email from Chris Callanan. And so there should be a link in your email to the survey, but of course, we can drop this in the chat as well. And would love for everyone to fill this out. And it just kind of validates, did you like the look of this or the feel of that, and helps us shape the character of this corridor as we finalize these last pieces of design. So would love for everyone to do that and share it with your neighbors or whomever, and see if we can't get some input that way as well. All right, so that's really it as far as our update tonight. The last pieces are moving along. We expect to see you maybe in February with final design, everything all dialed in. And of course, if you have particular comments or questions or anything about your property, we can help to arrange meetings, and Mark Gonzalez is a great project manager contact as well. So.
Any comments or questions about that? Sorry, Beth.
No, yeah.
Okay. You want to try we'll go on to the program of projects?
Yeah, this is just
Overview.
a quick, yeah, this is great. So if we don't have any more questions, that's Washington specifically, but we did want to kind of share this, and we wanted to let you know some of this overarching direction of where everything's headed in this area. And so, and there's so much going on. It's just a good reminder. So I think, Kat, we can go ahead and move to the map. So this is a map. We're going to go through this map in just a little more detail so you can actually read it. But just a reminder is that as of 2023, we have completed, National Western, all these different projects, Jim, have completed 51st Bridge, Phase 1A and B of the Globeville Levee and Heron Pond area, like we just went through. And we are very close to final design on the initial portion of 48th Avenue Greenway on Washington Street, like we just talked about, the I-70 Lincoln Underpass pedestrian improvements that are going in, the levee Phase 2, which is the central portion of the levee there, north of I-70. And at 44th and Broadway, there are sidewalks and improvements going in that location as well. So those are all things that are really constructed or in final design, near final design completion, and we'll be heading into construction. So maybe what we'll do is just take a little quick look at the areas individually. There you can actually read it. So if we start on the north, this map is available now on the Washington Area Program of Projects website. And it's kind of a nice map because even though it's busy, it does highlight everything going on, and it kind of breaks it down so you can see the phases, and it highlights the benefits that the community is receiving through all these projects. So for the most part, we're getting stormwater or flood management, trees, green and tree canopy and green space, and bike and pedestrian improvements. And that's sort of the theme we'll see. They're all hopefully working together to improve all the network in this area. So in this case, we have the park, we have Washington Street, of course, and we have 51st, which crosses east-west, which is being done, in coordination with Washington. So Mark is also managing that project, and construction will follow in 2025 as well, at the same time as Washington. And then we have the levee, and we have the conclusion of the 51st Bridge. And then we'll go to the next little section and dial in a little bit. And then here we kind of get into, there's Argo Park, and we know we have final design of the 48th Avenue Greenway from the outfall at the river west to Washington Street. So the secondary portion, which goes west of Washington and into Argo Park, is in concept design. It's not that far along, although that is planned as an extension all the way through the park. But the first phase is almost at 100% there, at 90% as well. Future Betty Cram Bridge is seeking funding. We are going again for some additional grants and trying to pull together money to get that thing constructed as well. And it is in design right now, so that it'll be ready to go as soon as the money all comes together. We had mentioned the levee, of course, That's phase 2, and it's the piece you're seeing in this picture here. And it also is in the final stages of design and scheduled for construction between 2024 and 2027, and that's because they have to work in only the low flow season. Then we have Lincoln, I-70 and Lincoln Underpass is a pedestrian improvement and lighting and safety improvements that are going in there. Those are slated to move into construction also in 2024, I believe. Those are more near term. And then I want to call out the future 44th and Pearl Park that you see there. That is something that Parks and Rec has been working to secure, and they're doing a great job of getting the space secured and available, and the park improvements have not started. So that will be a process that will launch in the next year or so, okay? And then lastly, the 44th and Broadway pedestrian improvements is a ramp and a staircase up and over I-25 and over to Fox Station area. So that's a great connection between the segments of Global that are broken up by I-25. And then lastly,
I was just going to mention the 44th and Pearl Park was the was where the tiny homes were, just to give a sense of context there. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And then the last little piece as we near the bottom here is that the Global Levy has a third phase, and that runs along Ringsby, and it has a little pocket of open space at the gateway to Ringsby, and then continues as a pedestrian improvement along Ringsby with the levee wall. And that's the current design, and that has been a little quiet for a while as they have finished up phase 2, but that it will be coming back to life here in the next months as well, and looking at that design again. And then lastly, the South Platte River Trail is an improvement to the regional trail that will go in with the levee improvements. So as each phase of the levee goes in, the regional trail improvements go in as well. And that is a beautiful trail design that's going to be coming through this area. And that is it on that overarching map. So we have just updated the website, and I do draw your attention to it because it was getting a little crazy. We had all kinds of stuff out there. So it's been cleaned up and streamlined. You'll have that map with all the projects visible. And then there is information about our meetings and quarterly newsletters that we think we're going to start doing. And then also the individual projects are listed, and you can go to those and find out information. And we have nearly all of those updated as well. Each of the project managers is providing information that is more current on their projects, and we're updating those. So there could be one or two missing, but I think we've hit just about all of them at this point. So a big overview for you and lots of great updated info. Any questions on anything with regard to this?
Don't see any hands up. Beth.
All right. Great.
All that's good news. It's when you see the list of everything that's being done in sort of a couple sheets, it's pretty amazing. So we've been talking about it for the last year, and suddenly all of this is coming together into some pretty wonderful improvements. Thank you for the update.
Yep.
Thanks, Beth and Catherine. Yeah, hopefully that overview is helpful. We're definitely trying to communicate more for kind of an understanding of all of the investments that are going to be made in the area from the public side. So feel free to reach out if you ever have any suggestions or recommendations on any of those projects. And Giovanni, I saw you just raise your hand.
Yes, sorry. So I was wondering, Beth, we just had a call with the state about this area for infrastructure funds related to our project. I'm literally putting together a list of different things, and I think Host is as well. But maybe the Betty Crane Bridge is kind of a part of that. And I say that because another project I'm working on in Western Colorado, they're getting funds for basically a bridge going over this creek. So maybe I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe there's some synergies there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you. So, well, with that, this is a little bit more lighthearted and fun, but Dottie is very excited to be participating in the GES Trunk or Treat, sponsored and hosted by the National Western Center and various other partners, such as Northeast Transportation Connections. So this will be occurring on Halloween, so Tuesday, October 31st from 4 to 6 p.m. At the Stockyards at National Western. And there'll be all kinds of organizations and other folks who will be attending to pass out candy and engage folks in the neighborhood. I'll be there as well representing Dottie. So stop by and say hi if you happen to make it out. It's a nice way to kind of connect, and I always love catching up with everyone. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or any of our partners who are on the call from the National Western Center, like Anthony Aragon and Sarah Miley, and we can get you information if you'd like. Any other folks, any questions about that? Awesome.
Okay, well, get your costumes ready. Our next meeting, it will be again a virtual CAG. We're rescheduling it, because I don't think you want to spend Thanksgiving with us. So we're moving it to November 30th at 2023, and the December CAG, also knowing that that's a important holiday time for many people, that one will be canceled. So our next meeting is November 30th. Of course, Chris is going to be sending out information about it, but we just wanted to note for you that that Thanksgiving week is one that we don't want to interfere with. Chris, anything else for this evening?
Nothing else for this evening. I will say that we're working on kind of getting together a meeting schedule for the new year, and that will be brought to this group and posted on the website after the new year. But just wanting to make sure that we're kind of consistently communicating all of the opportunities to give input or ask questions for community with advance notice. If you have any suggestions or feedback about ways that information might be helpful around these projects, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to grab coffee or set up a virtual meeting and hear your suggestions, because as you saw earlier in the meeting, there is a lot of work being done, and we're here to try and connect the dots and make sure that if folks are looking for information, they're able to find it. Or get in contact with the project managers or project teams that are working on projects. So always open to that kind of input. But that's it for me. I hope that everybody stays warm this weekend. I know that we're expecting our first snowfall, which feels so sudden. Feels like it was just summer, but I hope everyone stays safe and warm. And I think that's it for me.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody, for being with us here tonight, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.